Fantasy football is all about finding value in the draft, right? I know a lot of people like to say never take a quarterback early, but a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jayden Daniels, these guys are difference makers. They help you win leagues. But the other strategy with quarterbacks is to just wait and get somebody later in the draft. Think about Jayden Daniels last season, right? Ninth round value, absolute league winner, bro. Helped a lot of people win a lot of money, including myself. I was all in on Jayden Daniels in almost all of my leagues last season. So this year we're going to try to find the next Jayden Daniels. And the first name on this list is going to be Bo Nix. Now, he's actually going in the 6th round. So he's like QB8, so he's not that much of a value. I think people are just getting really like smart about rushing upside quarterbacks, and Bo Nix fits that mold, right? He has a lot of rushing upside. So he was actually quietly neck to neck with Jayden Daniels in 2024. There was like a point in the season where people were comparing them and saying like, who's the better rookie? Like Bo Nix was very poised. I mean, under Sean Payton, people were comparing him to a Drew Brees. There was a lot of dink and dunks, a lot of safe passes early on in the season. He's a fantastic value at the moment. So let's paint this picture about Bo Nix. So Broncos were 4th in the NFL in average pocket time. So a very good offensive line, which they brought back. So the whole offensive line is still intact. They had a couple of signings just for depth. And they were 2nd in the NFL in sack percent allowed on dropbacks. Again, you could say it's because he was getting the ball out early, but for the most part, the offensive line really held through, even on the more slowly developing plays, right? And then they were 2nd in pressure percent allowed, so he had clean pockets most of the time. And another stat, this is a Bo Nix specific stat, is that he was 6th in the NFL in total intended air yards, and total pass attempts. So 6th in intended air yards and pass attempts. And looking at his game logs, you could see that Bo Nix had a lot of safe floor, man. Like if you look at this chart, there were hardly any games after week 7 where he was under 14 fantasy points. He had a fantastic floor. He was very safe, and he had a lot of upside. You see some games where he had 29 fantasy points, 28, and then to end the season in week 16 to 18, 21, 22, 30 through that explosion game against Kansas City. So Bo Nix has shown to us that he can be a very high upside quarterback in a very good offensive system under Sean Payton. And as I mentioned, with that sneaky good floor, 20% of his fantasy points come from rushing yards and touchdowns, which is nice, right? That's what you want in a quarterback. You want him to not have to rely only on passing touchdowns. And just for some context, Lamar Jackson was actually at 26% in terms of rushing yards and touchdowns. So he's right there with him, dude. He's not far off. We're going to watch a little bit of Bo Nix tape. So check out this little end around, back to Bo on a little bit of a flea flicker, launches it, dude. So the dude has an absolute cannon arm on him. And I love what I see from this offense, right? You see just a normal drop back here, another just dart to the left, back shoulder fade. Bo Nix can make pretty much every throw, right? We see another deep pass. What is this, Mims? Maybe Lil Jordan Humphrey. Who fucking knows, dude? Everybody looks the same on the Broncos. Another just absolute dart, dude, down the middle of the field. You love a quarterback that can make these down the middle of the field throws. Another just a little, dude, drops it into the basket, back shoulder, sideline throw. We see him evade pressure here. Another just off the back foot, slings it over. I don't know, man. I just love Bo Nix. I love that he can make every throw. He's poised. He's big. He has rushing upside. Bo Nix is my favorite target. He's getting a little bit expensive, but I still think in the 6th round, by then you have your wide receivers, you have your running backs. Your team is essentially set. You can probably take that 6th round pick. Another deep bomb right here to Marvin Mims at the back of the end zone. This is that game where both Mims and Bo Nix exploded against the Bengals. Another dude, running out of the pocket, back foot, launches it over to Mims yet again. Just a fantastic QB, dude. He's somebody that I absolutely love. And now the next quarterback that I do want to look at, this one's a little bit controversial. Some people really love him. Some people are actually a little bit down on him despite some of the changes. And it's Caleb Williams, who's currently going QB 12 in the 9th round. So that's that perfect type of value. The most of your starting roster is looking good. All right, time to look at a QB. 9th round is about that spot that I like to look at. Now, we thought this dude was going to be the fucking second coming of Pat Mahomes. We were wrong, dude. We were dead wrong. But he did show some flashes. So it was a pretty rough rookie season. Looking at his game log, you see that for most of the season, he was unusable. But there's small stretches, dude. Small stretches where the team started to have better play calling. Caleb Williams started to relax a little. He was getting himself situated in the offense. You see that from weeks 5 and 6, 25 and 31 fantasy points heading into the bye. You're like, holy shit, dude. Did Caleb, turn a corner? Did he like turn over a new leaf? I don't know. And then he comes out of the bye week, 997 fantasy points. All right, he's fucking dog shit, bust. And then you see, dude, again throughout the season, 28, 26 fantasy points, and then dog shit, dog shit, dog shit, 21 fantasy points, dog shit, season ends. So Caleb Williams, dude, very rocky season, to say the least, but showed some flashes, as I mentioned. So I think you can attribute that to three things, dude. So number one, the offensive line generationally trash, dude. Most sacks in the NFL. Some were Caleb's fault. It wasn't all on the O-line. I mean, if you have a rookie quarterback making a lot of mistakes, the O-line is just going to struggle. But the reason they were so generationally bad, I can't even say that word, was that their run blocking was just so bad. The team could not run the ball. It was first down. They'd run DeAndre Swift up the middle. He'd lose like 7 yards somehow. Like, it's the only offensive line, the only offense that I've seen in the NFL where it's madness, dude. Every first down, every drive, they're looking at like a 2nd and 12. And then it becomes 3rd and 12. Like, they were off the field. They'd be down by 21 points at halftime. So it was just an absolutely brutal offense to watch. If you're a Bears fan, fucking hit me down in the comments and let me know that you saw what I saw. So let's look at a little bit of game film of Caleb Williams kind of performing really well despite the bad O-line. So we see off the hike, moves up the pocket, absolute dart to Cole Kmet, I believe. Again, moves up the pocket well. This is when the O-line actually holds up decently. He can really thread the needle, and he can actually make like pretty decent throws, to be honest. So Bears fans, I think greener pastures await you guys, and here's why. So Ben Johnson is now in town, and he was the brain behind the Lions' amazing offense. He's now the head coach for the Bears. They draft 2 really good pass catchers in Luther Burden Jr. and Colson Loveland. They still have DJ Moore, Rome Odunze. DeAndre Swift is actually a really good pass-catching running back. So I think wheels are up for Caleb Williams. He has a lot of upside. And keep in mind, another thing similar to Bo Nix is that he had 489 rushing yards. No rushing touchdowns, unfortunately. So I think he can really improve in the rushing touchdown department. He can improve as a passer, throw less picks, make better, easier decisions, be more of a dink and dunk quarterback when he has to be. The problem with Caleb is that he would get fucking frazzled, dude. He would get frazzled and dazzled and try to make plays, try to extend plays, which you want to see in a quarterback, but you want to see him like age. You want to see him grow. You want to see him get a little bit smarter as a quarterback and just like take what the defense gives you. Similar to Pat Mahomes, right? Like Pat Mahomes came into the NFL as like a gunslinger, extending plays, making crazy throws. He has become more of a game manager because he's realized, all right, teams are going to take stuff away from me. I just need to take what I can get. Like, you can't go broke making a profit as a quarterback. So I hope Caleb Williams makes that play. But you know who can be truly, truly the next Jayden Daniels in 2025? Aaron Rodgers, quarterback for the... No, I'm fucking kidding. It's Justin Fields, dude. The new New York Jets quarterback. He's currently being drafted as QB 14, just after Caleb Williams. And listen, you won't find me defending Justin Fields as a quarterback. He's not a great passer. He makes a lot of dumb, boneheaded mistakes, but the man is an absolute fantasy football cheat code. Look, if you've had Justin Fields in the past in fantasy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Jacob Gibbs, actual GOAT. If you don't follow him, dude, you need to start getting serious about fantasy football. Go follow Jacob Gibbs on Twitter. And he posts a lot about quarterbacks lately, and he posted this graphic about fantasy points per dropback back to 2023. So Justin Fields is currently 7th on the list, 0.54 fantasy points per dropback. So if you look at this list, he's in pretty good company, right? Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Anthony Richardson. Fucking stay tuned for that, man. We might do a video about that. Let's see how healthy he is, though. So the man just scores fantasy points when he is a starting quarterback, and he isn't now a starting quarterback. In 6 starts in 2024, when he was the QB for the Steelers, he was the QB 6 overall, QB 7 in points per game. Now, it was kind of helped by like one explosion game. He had like a 30-point fantasy game in there. But the other games were usable. The other games he was starting, a top 12 fantasy quarterback in most of them, right? So 4th in fantasy points per dropback in 2024. So 0.62 is actually a lot better than his average. And at least 27 rushing yards in 5 of his 6 starts. So he gives you a little bit of a rushing floor as well. And we know he can actually be even better as a rusher. He's got that like 100-yard game, 2 touchdown potential, right? We saw that from when he was the quarterback for the fucking Bears. So another thing that we should be excited about with who are we talking about right now? With Justin Fields is Tanner Engstrand. the new Jets offensive coordinator. So who the fuck is Tanner Angstrom? The man sounds like a supervillain, right? And he was the passing game coordinator for the Lions in 2024. So what the fuck is a passing game coordinator? I didn't even know that exists. But he was the guy who's in charge of the passing game for the fucking self-explanatory job title, right? He doesn't have any trouble explaining to people at dinner parties what he does for a living. So wheels are up for Fields, man. The Lions' passing game was their, I mean, it wasn't their bread. Maybe it was their butter because their run game was their bread, right? It was their bread and butter was the run and the pass. So he was great there, right? And if this dude's now the offensive coordinator for the Jets, we might actually finally see a Jets passing attack that's actually half decent. So I think these three guys, Justin Fields, Bo Nix, and Caleb Williams, are all really good targets as like young quarterbacks you can get fairly late. Maybe not for Bo Nix, but they represent a lot of upside for us. These are dudes that I'm willing to take swings on. Keep in mind, if you get one of these guys and you're a little bit weary, or maybe you can't get any of these three guys, you can always take other QBs later, right? Like a Stafford. He can always be decent, right? As like a fill-in, just in case these guys aren't working out. But three other players I just want to mention as honorary mentions. We're not going to get into them. Drake May. I was really heavily debating putting Drake May in this video over Caleb Williams. Dak Prescott, who's going like ridiculously late, right? And he's got like top 6 quarterback potential if he can just get the passing touchdowns, right? And then Trevor Lawrence, right? We just have Ben Cohen coming over from Tampa Bay to the Jags. Trevor Lawrence, he's got BTJ there. He's got Travis Hunter. He's got a couple of good running backs that he could potentially use. So those are the quarterbacks, man. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, you know what to do, man. Hit me up with a like while you're down there. Hit me up with a subscribe and hit that bell notification if you want to catch more of these videos. Stay tuned. Next week, we're going to be releasing things, very similar videos. We might hit running back, or we might hit wide receivers, tight ends. We might do some mock drafts. So stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.